Ow. Okay, that bottom hose is now in. There is a little bit of a crinkle going on down there, but I can't help that. Look, that's took me all day cutting out bits of metal and rubber and copper and all sorts to get it to where it is. So it is clipped in at the bottom. I never got rid of the top clip or the bottom clip, just that corner clip was the only thing that went. Piece of copper here with a pipe coming out because I've got to extend that all the way around. And then down, that's going to be my fill up pipe. Still debating whether to put a one way on that actually. Don't know yet. I shouldn't think I need it. Just been down the scrappers again. I managed to get myself a whole load of hoses. These has come off of our appliances that are down there for scrap. It should now give me enough pipe. This one I'm going to clean out, it's hydraulic, I'm going to clean that out. That's going to be for the interior heater because the pipe is smaller inside than it is actually in the engine bay. And this stuff, unfortunately, I have got to join it together. There's nothing I can do to avoid that because it just isn't long enough to go all the way around. But I've got two pieces of that. So there's that piece there and there's these two pieces here which we can join up. I've got all of the brass connections, Jubilee clips, no end of them. So we should have enough to get on with. Alright, so we've got to go from there all the way around, all the way down to there. And then we've got to come from there all the way around to there, and then we've got to go B&Q later. We need a pipe to go on that, which will go across to that and then tee off and go on to that. That way we can bleed out all the air then. In fact, I might bring that pipe across, follow that one around, join it on and then send it round. Okay, that hose is on all the way around and down to there. That took most of my blue hose up, temporary fitted in at the back. I've got a little bit more work to do with that as yet, so there's no Jubilees holding that on. The vacuum chambers, that needs replacing, but they're on. Had to alter that one. Here's the best one, the hardest, as some of you will appreciate. Cut a piece of hose off and managed to get that blue one in there. So that's done. So now the thermostat can be rebuilt, but that won't be today. I have another one of those which I'm going to replace this with. Excuse the wind, we've got a bit of a blow going on out here at the moment. Anyway, I've been shopping, bought a lot of stuff. So we've got that hose clamped on there, ain't going nowhere. I've got one more to put in under there. I've been to the yard, don't know if I've got enough to do what I need to do, but until I get that altered I won't know. Okay, fuel line, second filter, snapped the last one. Clamped in there, we're clamped in up there, down there. I mean, shortened this so it ain't hitting the wall. What else is there to do? So yeah, the only pipe left to put on now is over there. It's got to run all the way along into that, and then we've got to go bit by bit. I'm chipping away at it. Filter's on, return is in. I've clamped it down to that plastic one. I'm hoping that'll be fine. I just don't want that moving around. I've left the hose as is. Instead of putting sleeving around it like I did there, I left that one because I needed, that pipe is really small and I needed to be able, and that's kinked a little bit, so I don't know how that's going to work out. I guess we'll find out sooner or later, but I've had to clamp that on there as tight as I can get it. I may have to cut another one. That's really quite done like that, but then the the return is on a smaller hose, so it might not make any difference. I've got the brake line made, I've just got to fit that now. Okay, we are getting close to being finished in here. So I've put the second hose in, it's there. There's 3 pieces of hoses all joined together. I've clamped it up there. I haven't actually fitted it to the bulkhead or anything yet, because I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that. I'm just debating whether to put a post in here and clamp these 2 to the post. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I suppose that decision will be made when I put the bottle back in. Tomorrow we'll cut that black pipe work, bring that down and re-weld it, and then we'll rework those. The brake line is in, best I could get it. I'm crap at doing these, I told you that. I could really do with a way of holding that as well, but there's nothing apart from there isn't enough length on that nut, so no. But all I can do is clamp them down, drill a hole through there somehow and put a post up and put them on, and that's probably the only way I'm going to do that. So this has got to be revisited. I've also got to undo that and bleed it through. Fuel lines are all in. I'm not exactly happy with that one at the moment. That could do with being cut down a bit more. The dipstick's got to be put back in. Problem is I've lost the screw, and we're waiting on the thermostat. When I get that, I can put that back, and then I can put the coil back on there. We've also got a distributor pipe, the vacuum got to go in, and I ordered something else and I still can't bloody remember what it was. Right, thermostat has finally arrived, so we can get that job done. The pipe has now turned up as well, we can get that job done. And I've just gone out and bought a load of thin hose. It has a very tight 5mm in a hole. So I shall put that one to there. It will fit that nicely. I should be able to get it on that one, but I don't stand a hope in hell with that one. So what we're going to do is we've got an old hydraulic diverter, a 3-way diverter. So we'll use that to feed off, but when we get up that end, I'm going to put a piece of hose over the pipe of the diverter and then cut it, and then I'll put a thicker piece, I've got some over here actually, I'll whack that over the top of the hose and then clamp it down, and then this, which is the right diameter, can feed off of that and feed into the bottle, and we should be able to do that. Okay, pipe is in there all the way along to my 3-way, and then it goes in the blue into the bottle, and then from here over, under, around, and in there. Both of these are useless, to be honest. It's this hose, it's very floppy. Need to put another one of them in, but I've got that wonky. Oh, nothing goes right. So what's left? Well, we've just got the matrix to do now. So we've got to take those tubes off, cut them, lower them, shorten the hoses, and then refit, and then connect up the heater, which is going to be a nightmare on its own. That is a lot of wire. Unfortunately, it's offcuts from a lorry fire appliance sort of stripped. Yep, we're at that one again. I went down there this morning. I forgot all about this actually. I meant to have spoken about it. Various lengths, thicknesses, basically advantages and disadvantages of second-hand cut-offs like that is joining this lot together is a bit of a nuisance. So we'll keep this within the engine bay and the dash area, you know, the interior area. We are going to have to buy some proper wire on rolls to do all the lighting, because we've got to go all the way to the back of the vehicle, and I don't really want to join that together and have mismatches all over the place. The disadvantages to it is I don't know what half the ampage is on this lot. I'm no expert at wiring, I'll openly admit, so this is going to be fun because every wiring job I've done has been a mess. So this will be interesting. This is all for next week, by the way. The other disadvantage is, as I said, you can't join it all together and expect it to be neat and tidy, so that's not going to happen. The advantage is I paid a little less than what I would if I bought it online on rolls, but I'm limited to how far I can go. You know, everything has got to be cut within the lengths of what I got. Some short pieces, some long pieces, some heavy ampage, some low ampage, you name it, it's here. So next week, because we are coming to the end of the video slowly, tomorrow's Friday, I'm going to put the thermostat in and glue the housing on with silicone, and we're going to get the heater unit plumbed in, which we've got that bit there to do, and then I'll upload. So that's pretty much tomorrow's work. I was just looking at my screen, I've got a weird thing up there. Weird. So yeah, it's been a funny old week. We're doing a lot of driving this week, to and froing. So yeah, what I would like to do also, the ammo boxes, I would like to use plugs if I could, and plug into the side. I ain't found anything at the moment. There is some stuff on the fire engine down there I noticed, but they don't look like the pins are going to be pokey enough. From one ammo box to the other ammo box, they're just going to be straight wires. I drill holes, I put grommets in, I'll glue those down so they can't come out, and I'll literally just thread the wires through there. I have got some of that plastic trunking that came with this, but it's chunky old stuff, and I don't really want that everywhere in the engine bay. I've got enough with the hoses, so really I don't want to add it if I can, but I'm going to have to come out, go down, go across the cross member, and then back up again is how I'm going to have to do it. I don't see any other way, and that's just to do the engine area, you know, the electronic ignition, the sensors for the everything that I'm planning to wire in is going to get wired in on one loom, possibly, might be two looms. I think the fan switch will be one loom. The ignition system for the pump, spark and everything, that'll be another loom. So once I've made that all up, I'll take them all off and go from there really. And then once we get it to the point where I can move it, because next week's going to be the wiring and the welding, and then we'll see about putting fuel in and firing it up, and then I was going to reverse it up, but I think I might move everything off the patio and drive it out around into that patio area, reverse back up, and then drive it up the top so that the nose is pointing to the shed. And that's just because I don't want prying eyes on me all the while. So yeah, and then we're looking at maybe putting a gazebo up as well over the top, if I can figure out how to put that bloody thing together. It's huge, more like a, I don't know, it's huge, that's all I can say. I don't even know if the metal's any good on it. If not, I'll have to order a couple of cheap gazebos out of my catalogue and put them together. I got one in the shed actually, so I could actually put that up and then get some blue plastic and peg some plastic to it so I can work in the rain. Right, first hose is in, second one is about to go in, which is going in under there. I had to take out all of that lot to get to it. I've altered the pipes, I think they look a lot better. So yeah, I think we're getting there. That is much better. Yeah, pleased with it all. Right, just glued. I've now got a screw. Don't know what I'm showing you, it's dark, but they're in. Just got to put that back together, I don't know if I'm going to get finished today. I've just had a knock at the door. A lady a couple of doors down, the car's broke and they're trying to tow their caravan. So they've asked me if I can whip that up to Wickham Market. So I'm going to have to disappear in a minute. It's come a long way, hasn't it? So we'll just get them screwed in, get those two hoses chopped and put on, and then all I've got left to do is the thermostat, which I'll do when I get home. I think my camera's just died. Okay, we're finished. I've got thermostat on now. We may have to trim that up, but I won't know that until I put my boxes in place for the fuses and relays. I've even got the pipe for the vacuum on, but as I said before, I'm not sure if that's working, so it may end up having to go down there, and I'm still not sure it'll work on that because it might be too much of a vacuum. I don't know yet. So everything else has been done. I can now say that this water system is finished. So yeah, that's everything finally fitted. I even put a water pump on for the Matrix over there from a BMW. I'm just debating whether to put a stop valve in there as well. I don't know yet. Heater matrix is all wired in. Everything. Fuel lines are in. I mean, technically we could put petrol in this, and if we had everything wired up, we could turn that key and away it go, and that would cool down and do everything. So I think I've murdered my camera. I'm on my phone at the moment, which is not so great. It's a bit jumpy. So I've put in a clip to hold that away from the brake lines. That one's all connected up, and this is based on the fact that I do not know what I recorded from the previous one, but that's glued and screwed. Don't know if you can see any of that in there, but the pipes are in. Rad is plumbed. All is good in the world. I know it's very jumpy, this camera. I'm watching it in my screen. Quality is good, but phew. So what we've got left to do, well, today's my upload day, so we've just got the thermostat and gasket to sort out, and then we can feed a new one of them in. So there you go, guys, that's where we're at so far. We have a small problem. Old numbnuts here, me, I forgot to put my camera away, and it rained, and now my camera's not working, so I've got to replace it, and we are talking the best part of 400 quid minimum. Now I don't mind doing that, but I need to ask you for a small favour. I need to know if my investment of 400 quid is worth doing. So I need to see, in order to convince me, 500 views minimum on this video that you're now watching, and at least, please, 20 likes. If I can see that, if I see that, I will immediately go on my catalogue and I will order another camera and stitch myself up another 400 quid's worth of debt, which I don't mind doing because I know you guys are enjoying what I'm doing, and it makes me happy if it makes you happy. But I want to do it. If there's anything below, I'll just have to keep randomly filming with the phone, and there'll just be little dribs and drabs because my main camera is now dead. I don't think it's going to dry out. I might be lucky enough and it will dry out, but I'm not expecting that, if I'm honest with you. So yeah, although this camera isn't so bad, but clog up all my memory, and I don't want to do that. So I would like to say thank you very much for your time, your views, your likes. The last video, which I honestly thought wasn't going to be that great, has turned out to be okay, and it's got some decent likes and shares, which I'm grateful for, so thank you. We are starting to move. The channel's very, very slowly. It's only took 6.5 years. So with that, I'd like to say thank you, and we'll see you on Monday. Next week we are going to tackle some of the electrics. I don't know how I'm going to do that because I'm using second-hand wire, and I need to find some plugs from somewhere. There is some on a fire appliance down the yard, so I might shoot back down there next week, see if I can get them off. I also want to weld up the angle iron at the back. Oh, my fingers are in the way. That's the problem with this camera. I need a holder. So yeah, hello, I've had a cat in here, look. Cheeky little sod. So I've got to weld all of this lot up. I've got to drill a hole down here as well so I can drain off that pipe under here down. And I've got to hammerite that all up, but I've run out of that. I've got to get that battery switched because it's leaking. I generally daren't charge that up because the vent is not venting for some reason. No, I wasn't matter with it. So that's got to be pulled out, taken back to where I got it from, and see if I can switch it for another one. Ignition switch has got to go in. Got a lot of work ahead of us. Where is it? It's there, and that's got to go back in underneath. I think we're going to have to put one of the seats in as well, because I would like to get the seat belts made while it's down here, because once the seat go in, it's going to be difficult to get the seat belt to fit with the seat in the way, and I don't really want to pull it out again. Got to bleed the brake. I haven't done that yet. I might need to leave a little note so I remember, because that's got to be done before we move her up the top. And I did say I did say I was going to reverse drive forward up it. That's not going to be possible because I don't have enough room over here to maneuver this thing around in. The space is just too tight. If that little lot there wasn't there, I could get it up there. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to get myself a cheap little plastic throwaway gazebo. I already got one. I'll get a second one. I'm not going to put that big one up, it's too much of a nightmare. And I'm going to put 2 gazebos up in front of it, and I'll plastic along this side and along here, because I just don't want to be spied upon from this side of the neighbourhood. Over here, look, this side, I don't want to be spied on. So I already got watched this afternoon when I was driving a caravan away for a friend, another neighbour who wanted some help, and I was being watched. I didn't appreciate it one little bit, but it is what it is. You'd have thought people have got better things to be doing with their time than watching a neighbour. But there you go. So, one last glimpse at the work. There you go. What do you think of that? I'm loving that. I want to get that changed for blue if I can. Yep. There you go, guys. Again, thanks for your time. See you next week, hopefully.